Hello, hello. Hello everyone. I am Varun Bhardwaj and today I'm going to explain my task basic authentication and authorization. As in this task we have to create a API format that can handle authentication and authorization means password handling and other things. For this we are asked to create a HTTP basic authentication file in which we have to use a big authentication handlers mean logger file etc. All the service steps are given in the task sheet only. Now let's move on to the code section. Now here you can see we have created files of map controller, robot command controller and user controller. In this section we have introduced a new user controller file in which all authentication part is going on. So now move on to the user controller access file. The robot control API. The robot control API now namespace contain the user control class which handle HTTP endpoint related to user management. Now controller attributes are HTTP get, HTTP post. All these are control attributes, API controllers. Now route API user. What does it do? Route API user set the base route for all endpoint in this controller to API user actions. I will show you that in Postman section. Now what we have created HTTP get all user handle get request to retrieve all user. It authorized only for admin. Now for get admin require we means only admin can access to certain things to the passwords. Now get now we move to another section. Now what is get user by ID means get user, it handles get request to retrieve a specific user by their ID. It's authorized only for admins means we have to see some information all about what does user password and what does it do, how means if you for example if you want to see in which time user have access the file, we can see by admin only can see. So we have created that. Now authorized policy admin, we want to create a admin section, so we created that authorized policy admin only section to main post our new request. All this I will show you in my uh, uh, postman section. Now what does action parameter do? What does action parameter do? Now action method accept parameter to handle dynamic data such as user ID, user object sent in the request body and response handling. Now all this need to be a response handling. So response handles all the handles that is given by the user. Now in this I have created a password. This line I have used a password or hash using the bcryptnet library before being stored in the database. This enhances security by protecting user password from being exposed in a case of a data breach. Okay, all about this file. Now we have created a new file also, basic authentication file. And the basic authentication file, basic authentication handler file uh, class which is a custom authentication handler for basic authentication. It is an inherent class from the basic from authentication handler. Authentication with the authentication scheme option, it is a library which we have already installed from the ASP.authorization album. Now if we move toward our code, the construction now we have created a constructor initialize the authentication handler with necessary dependencies such as option logger, options logger, um, option logger encoder and clock handle clock. Now if we move to our uh, sorry, now if we move to our authentication process, we have to see what how it will do. Now if we, now the authentication process is used by handle authentication async method. Handle authentication async method, what does it do? Now handle authentication async method uh, this method contains the logic to handle the authentication process. It first check if the request contain an authorization header and add the necessary authentication header to the response. If then extract it and decodes a credential from the authorization header. Next, it retrieves user from the database. I have created a database based on the provided email. If the user does not exist with the password, it returns with the 401 error, that is authentication unauthorized response. Uh, Unauthorized response. Now all these auth header are created for the response error. Now if we move to the credential, all credentials are stored in our claim class. Now if I go to the claim class, I have created a claim class. Claims are pieces of information about the user that are encoded into tokens and used for authorization and identify purpose. In this code, claims are created based on user information retrieved from the database and are used to construct the user principal. uh, are used to now what is authentication ticket do? Now you can see the authentication. Authentication ticket represent the authentication state of a user. It contain a claim principal representing the representing authenticated user and the authentication scheme name. In this code, an authorization ticket is created with the user principal and authentication scheme name. Overall, this custom authentication handler implement basic authentication by extracting credentials from the request, verifying them against user records in the database that I have created in the pgadmin. I will show you later. Now again we have created a new file in which a map controller with a file of map controller. Map controller I have already explained it to you. Map controller, all the file is now it is a in this task I have map controller. I have just added it with the previous task, that is full web API. All maps are there. I will show you in the Postman also. I have shown in the Postman also. Now if we move over to new file, that is map data access. Now it is in this we have created a map data access file. Now what does this do? In this we have driving ngSQL. Again we are driving data from the Postgres database and the connections. Now all this is done with the creating a map data access file from the database. All are done, and updating method, all endpoints are given in the post, same as with all these files, robot command, robot map data. Now let's move on to our Postman section. Now I have already created a VB new file from the body. I have already posted it. As you can see, if I go on to my pgadmin section, I have already created a file with the VB Gmail. You can see all the admin. It is admin. I have already handler. If I want to, first I will enter the right password. What does it do? It show me the code 200. Okay, means our password is correct. It is you admin only. So you can see all the credentials have come. Now if I wanna send, I enter the wrong password, it give a code of unauthorized error. You can see my pgadmin section also. Here is name file. If I want, I have also added a new section, vb1@gmail.com. you can see it had added. So hope you understand the code. Thank you.